1 in 5 in attracting foreign direct investment, not foreign portfolio investment. Foreign portfolio investment comes today and it goes tomorrow at a profit. On the other hand, foreign direct investment is where people come here to stay long. They put in a lot of money in building infrastructure. They make the company stronger. So I think if we can come out with a report wherein we can say these are the 100 things that have made various other nations a fast progressing and prosperous country. Therefore, let's try and see if we can implement it. Now, it is very, very important whether it is a BJP government or a Congress government or a whatever, some Trinamool Congress, I don't know, whatever they are. They all have to say our country comes first and then our party. And in order to do that, we may have to make certain minor adjustments in the aspirations of our own party. I think that is the kind of India I am looking for. I am 78. I don't know how many years I will live. But if I can see such a coming together of the wonderful political leaders that we have in this country, sit together, argue based on data and facts, and agree what is a reasonable suggestion, what is a worthwhile suggestion, and then say whether I am in party A or party B, party C, this is our Bhagavad Gita of business progress, and we will all follow, and nobody will raise objection. I think that is the kind of India that I am dreaming of.
If I were to move on to education, a lot of companies in the West, Facebook, Meta now, X, a lot of them are not insisting upon traditional college degrees, to the extent that there might be some companies claiming that you don't need to mention where you graduated from on your job application to these companies. We spoke about income inequality earlier. If one were to assume that the biggest barrier or the biggest solution to the problem of income inequality is education, what do you think is broken with the education system in India broadly? And do you feel a use case can be made for the education system or the process of education in itself to become more fragmented in nature? I mean, where you don't go to one particular college to get all your educational needs, but you get it from 5 or 10 different places, and you go to experts at different things for different things.
Well, first of all, I must congratulate Sri Modi's government on forming NEP, the National Education Policy. It's a step in the right direction. And given that Dr. Kasturi Rangan was the chairman of that, given that people like Manjul Bhargava are part of that, I have tremendous hope that it will show us a path towards becoming better. The need of the day is to seed in the minds of our children, the primary and the secondary school children, independent thinking, active listening, critical thinking, Socratic questioning, relating what is learned in the classroom to the problems around us, and thinking of solutions to our problems. The moment our education gets transformed to this model, my belief is that then your college degree, they start mattering less. But even there, you would need for certain kinds of stuff. You do need college degrees, you need undergraduate and postgraduate degrees, you need PhDs, they're all required. But it would not be as important as we see here. For example, I have a friend of mine who is a professor at a top class, who is a very famous orthopedician in the US, and his undergraduate degree was in history. Why was it that a fellow with an undergraduate degree in history could get admission to the MD program there? The reason is that system of education encouraged all the things that I talked about. So I am very positive that the NEP, with Dr. Kasturangan and Manjul Bhargav and other well-meaning people and competent people, extraordinary people, will show a path towards making our children, much more competent in this kind of education. And then the demand for, these degrees will reduce.
If your son Rohan, if he grew up in a box, ignoring the mimetic nature of life and picking up influences from the people around him, and he were to be, say, 16 or 17 today, picking what to study, what would you suggest to Rohan?
If I would be 17, what would I?
If your son,
Oh, son.
if your son Rohan was to be not influenced by society at large, and he will pick to study exactly what you tell him to, and he's 17 years old today, let's assume, what would you recommend he study? What college, what subject, what degree?
No, I think thanks to my wife, not to me, because I hardly spent any time with my children. I was very busy in Infosys. Thanks to my wife, who is of course a better engineer than I was, she brought up our children with all the wonderful qualities that I talked about. Curiosity, analytical thinking, relating formal education to understand reality around us, etc. And they both went abroad to the US for undergraduate education. Of course, my son did his PhD later, daughter did her MBA. So in some way, I would say that I have been very lucky because I have had a partner who took up that responsibility of bringing up two wonderful children. I don't think I would have asked for anything more.
For companies like Infosys, which are exporting services to the Western world, amongst many other things that Infosys is doing, how big of a threat do you think language models, artificial intelligence? I've spent the last couple of days trying to get my head around Q-Star AI's new Chat AI's new product, ChatGPT's new thing. I'm still trying to figure out how it actually works, but on the face of it, for somebody who is not an expert at this, it could systemically affect how companies like Infosys work. How do you think they will transition into the world of tomorrow?
Well, the reality is that human mind is the most flexible and the most powerful instrument that ever existed. We have seen starting from the invention of the wheel to ChatGPT 4 today, it has been a journey of asking questions as to how can we use technology to make our lives better? How can we use technology for us to become more productive? How can we reduce the cost of the technology? How can we make this technology become all pervasive? How can we use technology to enhance transparency, efficiency, etc., etc.? That has been going on. And all of that has happened due to either invention that happens once in a while or to innovation that happens on a continuous basis. So the only insurance that any company, doesn't matter whether it's Infosys or Hindustan Unilever or any company that you, in any field that you can think of, the only insurance that it has for its survival, growth and success is the ability to create a mindset in the organization that constantly innovates and that constantly says, how can we improve our productivity? How can we improve the quality? How can we reduce the cost of what we do? What are the new methods by which we can, in fact, make the life of our citizens even better? As long as the CEOs of companies encourage such thinking amongst the employees of the company, then you don't have to worry about ChatGPT, LLM, it doesn't matter. Machine learning, deep learning, whatever may come and go, they will all